Hey, have you seen these teen driving laws that they've passed?
Yeah.
In the last couple of days? Can you believe that?
Yeah, I know.
10 p.m., that no teenagers on the road after 10 p.m.?
I know, that's pretty funny.
How is that going to work?
I don't know. See that blonde girl who that girl looked like she was 12 years old. I don't know if you saw her on the news, but she was, of course, not happy about it.
Oh, I would think they'd all be going bonkers.
Well, everybody wants to load the car. I mean, you get your driver's license. You definitely want to load up the car with your buddies. No question about it.
Yeah, terrible idea, by the way.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, terrible idea.
How many?
That's why I put the butter wagon around the.
Well, you had the one accident. Yeah, was that your only major wreck as a teen?
I had a head-on collision.
What?
But it wasn't a big one though.
What do you mean it wasn't a big one?
Well, it was in downtown.
How do you have a head-on collision?
It was downtown Rochester, and it actually wasn't my fault, and we weren't traveling at that big of speed, and everything was drivable at the end. But it was a head-on collision.
How many kids in the car? How many kids were in the car?
Oh, it was just me, but I was
just
a brand new driver.
Okay.
Well, not brand new. I don't know, maybe 8 months in. But, I was so distraught because it really wasn't my fault.
Such a bummer.
This idiot crossed the line, this old fool coming up the hill, Because what's more dangerous, a brand new teenage driver or an old fart, can barely see over the steering wheel.
I don't know. That's a really good one. Who's more dangerous, a teenager just getting their license or an old fart? The teenager is going to drive like an ass.
Yeah.
Especially if friends are in the car, he's going to want to lay rubber. And
press them.
I mean, that's what I always want to do is lay rubber.
Yeah.
And I was driving a Catalina with a 400 engine. And that thing,
yeah.
It would, if you dropped it into low, it would lay some nice rubber, which is ridiculous dropping into low.
I know. Well, see, that's what's missing from this current conversation, too, is all the talking heads get involved. And for example, they had a driving instructor on last night who was talking about the how these kids are easily distracted, and especially with all their cell phones and all this crap. Now these kids are
that's
they're playing
ridiculous.
Angry Birds while they're driving.
That is it's absurd.
Yeah.
The distraction level now versus think about distraction. We were just having our friends in the car.
Right.
Now the cell phones and the texting. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. And like I say, playing Angry Birds while you're merging on an expressway. But one thing that's missing in the conversation is that in our day, as you say, we had this terrible inexperience, but we were driving these 440 engines. We were driving some muscle cars that kicked ass. Mm-hmm. No pollution equipment. Rear wheel drive. The gearing on these cars are unbelievable. You could lay rubber in all three gears. And so you take that inexperience, you mix it with the cars we were driving, the Road Runners and all that stuff. But today, they're driving these pussy cars now. They're all loaded down with pollution crap. And although, any car, you certainly kill yourself in the cars today. But it's just that we were driving the hot stuff, man. We were driving the real fast stuff.
I know that Skylark that you were talking about. My friend had a Skylark 2-door convertible with a 350 engine. Yep. And like you said, no pollution controls. Nope. He used to lay rubber for blocks in that thing. Oh my God, was it fast off the line?
Off the line, man. That's where I beat that Roadrunner, my buddy Billy, because he had that Roadrunner with that. I think that 440 in there with the cotter pins, on the hood. And
I had a friend with a Roadrunner too.
Yeah.
I thought it was bigger than a 440, but 440 sounds pretty nice.
Yeah, and on the line with that Buick Skylark 2-door, you're absolutely right, sport with the vinyl top. I remember vinyl tops.
Oh, yeah.
And so, but anyway, I beat him off the line. The first 2 gears, I left him in the dust. But when we started coming through third into fourth, he just blew past me, just blew me off the road.
Oh, yeah, those Roadrunners. Nothing could beat a Roadrunner in the long haul.
No, but off the line, man, I wasted him off the line. But see, there you go. That's the kind of stuff we were driving, unlike these kids today. But boy, they really put the clamps down on them now with these new rules now.
No driving after 10 p.m. I was thinking back to my accident when I was a teenager, and I know I told you about it. I was, it's so funny. It's on the surface when it happened, it was just an accident. But actually, the truth of the matter was, we were doing lawn jobs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
On yards that had snow on them. I mean, like a half a foot of snow on the ground. I'm doing lawn jobs in a suburb where, I don't know, I think there was just a couple of roving cops, so it really wasn't that hard to do. In fact, it was right next to the suburb where my brother was in a Corvette.
Oh.
He had a friend with a Corvette, and he did a lawn job on this house that had this giant front yard, and he had some battle going with the kid that lived there. And it had been raining, and in his Corvette, he just gets right up near the front door of the house and just floors it and starts, and like wheels spinning, car barely moving at all.
Yeah.
By the time he had left the front yard, there were 2 lines of mud up the front of the house. And everyone was driving by the house to see it. It was fun. I've never seen anything like it. But it was one of these deals where the driveway went up the side of the house to the garage. It didn't go circular. It had another driveway on the other side. There was a hoop, and you could park over there. It was a big house. But then there was just grass in the middle, so you could literally get almost right next to the front door once you went on the lawn.
Oh, brother.
Oh, my God. What a mess.
Oh, God.
And then about a week later, I think it was on a Saturday, we drove by, and there were these guys on ladders that were hosing the mud off the house.
Brother.
Oh, God.
Can you imagine how upset that guy must have been?
Oh, I know.
Oh, God. And now you jump way into the future and imagine somebody did that to you. How pissed you.
Oh, no, whenever stuff like that happens, my
God.
mirror gets knocked off.
Oh, man.
I've had my wheel cover stolen, I think, 3 times. On the Escalade. People love those wheel covers. So I've paid for, I've paid for 4 new ones so far, and now I need another one. I just had another one stolen.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Jesus.
It's all karma coming back to bite me in the ass.
God.
But anyway, when I was doing the lawn jobs that night, the only accident, I'm trying to think, was that the only? Yeah, it was. I think maybe there's a couple other little things, but nothing major at all.
Yeah.
Got off a couple lawns, still driving like a madman, and it was really cold. It was like 5-10 degrees, Illinois winter, just like Michigan, just freezing. A lot of ice on the road. Came up to a T, got to go left or right, can't go forward.
Yeah.
And I'm making the turn there, driving too fast. There's ice on the road, and the car just wouldn't make the turn. Yeah, straight, exactly, into a big curb.
With the wheels turned probably left or right, going straight.
Yeah, you got it. Popped 3 tires.
Yeah, right.
Yes, hit the curb head on and popped 3 tires.
Ooh.
And tried to line my way out of it.
I'm surprised you didn't put your teeth through your tongue. That curb.
It was kind of a big curb, too.
Oh,
it was, God, that put the fear of God in me, too. Scared the living daylights out of me. But it wasn't, it wasn't so big a curb that it, there was just a sudden screeching halt and people going through the windshield.
A few tires, though. That's pretty good impact.
Very good impact. Anyway, got out of the car, and it's like, oh, my God, I got a flat. It was just like Jamaica when I popped all 4 tires.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my God, I got a flat. Oh, my God, there's 2. Oh, my God, there's 3. Except Jamaica, there was 4.
Yeah.
I guess I drove in over the spikes.
Yeah, that was you went the wrong way on that spike.
Yes, with Tess as a passenger, literally a passenger, because we were coming home from the casino at like 4:35 in the morning, and I don't know why. I mean, you see that when you check into a resort there, it's like, okay, the spikes. You know what happens if you drive over the spikes, and I was just so carefree. I don't know how much I had to drink, probably more than I should have, but I just drove right in over those suckers. Didn't even think about it. Popped them right away, obviously.
Was that going in and out where they have those things?
Yeah, going in and out. If you went in the wrong entrance, you got popped.
In California had a lot of those things. I don't see those things anywhere here, but boy, those are big for a while. Those spikes like that.
Yeah, it's quite a drag.
Yeah, because I was out west for a couple of years. I remember, boy, they had those things all over the place. What a pain in the ass those things were.
But just amazing that I did that. So stupid. I think we've been there for 3 days already, and obviously being overserved didn't help. I should not have been driving. This whole thing was really stupid. But the next day, we got up and had brunch, and so we're walking back to the room. This nice resort in we were in St. Martin. That's right. And all of a sudden, I noticed my car that I'd rented because it had 2 flats on the side.
Oh.
I'm like, oh, my God, 2 flat tires. What the hell? And I didn't even finish the sentence. Like, Oh, my God. I drove in over the spikes. Oh, my God.
Boy.
We've got 4 flat tires.
It all came to you. You drove on the rims of the parking place, probably.
Oh, yeah. No, drove like half a mile after popping them. Did not even notice.
Through the whole resort, rolling on the rims.
You got it. And the resort had, the roads were brick, too. So it was really, I mean, I should have so noticed because I would have been, on the rims on this brick road. Oh, my God. Overserved.
Oh, God. Oh, what a debacle.
Yeah. It was funny, though. Of course, in St. Martin, the people that were then spun into action to bring the 4 tires over, because I had paid for the insurance. I always declined the insurance. For some reason, they scared me. They're like, you're responsible for everything. If something happens, you're responsible. And I said, well, I've got insurance through my credit card, I think. That's fine. If you make claim through credit, and I was like, wait, how do I make a claim through my credit card? I just all of a sudden I get real nervous. So I paid it was like $8 a day or something. And I thought, well, I would be so much safer, rather be safe than sorry if somebody just creams me and, all of a sudden I got no insurance and I got to pay to get off this island. So I bought the insurance. So anyway, it was like clockwork. I called and actually the resort called for me. It's like, you don't have to do anything when you go to those places. Because I was like, gee, who do I call? They're like, oh, we'll take care of it. And I'm like, do you know who to call? Because oh, no, don't worry about it. I didn't even have to tell them where I rented the car. It's like they knew everything. Or maybe the rental car company was on the license plate or something. But you know how everyone knows how everything works on these islands? You think they don't, but they do. Yeah. And the next thing you know, an hour later, here comes a little pickup truck, and there's 4 tires in the back bed. Gee, I wonder what that's all about.
And of course, there's no way to lie your way out of it. I mean, it has to be the embarrassment of admitting what happened, because there's no way to explain 4 flat tires.
No.
Especially they just look at this sort of flat. It's like, no, it wasn't a stray screw in the road or something. These tires are just destroyed.
You know what? I copped to it early on rather than try and fight it. I was just like, just roll with it. I was on vacation. I was feeling very relaxed. My ego was not nearly as bruised as it normally would be. And so when they brought the 4 tires, I walked over to the car. And of course, as soon as they see me, they're laughing.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Oh, come on, guys.
Oh, yeah.
But, I was thanking them. They're like, oh, no, so happy to do it for you. And they're delighted to do it for you because the fact that I popped those tires meant that they got a tip.
Yeah, I was just going to say, they live on their tips. And
as soon as they saw me, of course, it starts up, oh, yeah, as soon as we hear, we ran over to the tire store, got the 4 tires. We got here as fast as we could.
That's the pitch for the tip.
Yeah, they have to let you know how hard they're working for you.
Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah, how they dropped everything for your behalf, and so you got to compensate them accordingly.
And I'd had a hot night at the casino the night before, too, so I had a lot of cash in my pocket. I think I won $800 or something. So I popped them a 50. They were just so fired up. Yeah. A 50 American. Mm-hmm. Whoa. Oh, it was big stuffing. But I had to talk to the rental car people, the resort. There were like 4 people that I had to have contact with, and every one of them was just laughing. They just thought it was the funniest thing ever. Oh, and I kept asking people, too, please tell me this isn't the first time this has happened. Someone's driven in against the spikes. Surely they have. And Lee says, no. We've had this resort for 50 years. No one has ever done that.
Never happened.
That's why we have those signs all over the place. No. There's like 2 gigantic signs. You can't miss them.
Yeah, wrong way.
Yeah,
stop.
And your tires will be destroyed if you drive it through here.
Yeah.
But, oh well.
They weren't kidding.
But, the 3-pop tires, when I hit the curb when I was 16, I'd had my license maybe 6 months. Oh, what a bummer. I mean, just honestly talking about it, it really bums me out because it was so depressing.
Well, it's really traumatic when you're young.
Yes,
and you do any damage to an automobile, it's really traumatic.
Mm-hmm.
And then right away you go into that mode of like, because you have your parents to deal with. It's bad enough, the whole issue of going through the trauma of what actually happened to you. And then after that settles down, then the money, parental aspect hits.
The fact that I didn't have enough. Let's see, my paper out money was probably long gone by then. So I just remember too thinking that, oh my God, I can't pay for this, and you just realize how powerless you are as a 16-year-old human being who's in a mess.
And that then you worry about the points and then what's going to happen to your insurance rates because they're already through the roof because you're young.
Well, I didn't worry. I wasn't worried about that yet because what happened was, We got out of the car, saw the flats, backed the car up, actually drove the car a couple blocks because we had another friend that lived around there, parked right in front of his house, went inside, and, oh my God, I can't believe this. I called, who did I call? I think I just called my mom and said, Mom, you're not going to believe this. I'm at my friend Brian's house, and somebody slashed 3 of the tires. So, of course, oh, well, you better make a police report because the insurance will take care of that. Back in the day when insurance used to actually take care of something. So, call the police, and of course that was a little nervy. But I just thought it was kind of routine. I really thought I got over. Well, the police, and God knows why, they don't have a lot to do in the suburbs, I suppose, especially then. They investigated, and I just remember the next day getting this phone call. The police are on the phone, and I knew. And what had happened is when I had spoken to them, I had said something to the effect of, they asked me how long I was in my friend's house, and not thinking at all, I was like, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. And they're like, okay. So when they call me, they're like, so you're in your friend's house for 20 minutes, and during those 20 minutes, someone slashed 3 tires. It may have been, I might have said 10 minutes. So I left myself such a small window for the vandals that it just sounded ridiculous.
Plus, if they look at the tires, they'll see that there's really no slashing that went on.
There were no,
but rather they were blown out by the force, that probably, again, with the rim against the tire, just probably just broke the seal.
As I've gotten older, naturally, I have a much better criminal mind. If I wanted to use it, I would have thought of that. I would have put slash marks on the tire.
Yeah, if you're gonna, or you could, but you probably just could have been honest and just said, actually, you probably just could have said, hey, it was icy, I couldn't believe it, and it just slid right in there, and they would have been, that would have probably been all right. But when you're a kid, that's what you do. You don't think about telling the truth when there's an issue with the car right away.
Exactly. It would have been so easy to say, hey, it was icy, but of course you're so embarrassed at the stupidity of driving too fast for the road conditions.
Well, you don't want your parents to think that they made a mistake either, or to worry about you. So right away it's got to be another factor that caused this.
Right, beyond your control.
Nothing to do with what I did.
Yeah, there was
no failure on my part as a driver, so there needs to be any future concern when I asked to take the car.
That is hugely, hugely humbling, I got to say, as a 16-year-old, to find that, because you think you're such a great driver, and that's the problem. That's why insurance rates are so high, because you think you're such a stud driver, a 16-year-old male. You're determined to drive as fast as humanly possible. Oh, yeah. Anywhere you go, show off for friends, lay rubber.
Oh, yeah. You haven't quite figured out speed versus stopping distance.
Yep, not exactly.
Not quite figured out yet. So you need a little work on the perspectives when you're parallel parking and how close you really are. Of course, today they got all the beeps and all the sensors all the way around
so
cars,
easy
but we
now.
didn't have that stuff.
Yeah, I remember when
we parallel parked, it was an adventure.
Both the kids, when they had to do their driver's test, Evan and Alex, and they had to do the 3-point or the parallel park. They were really, really nervous about that because they didn't do a lot of that. Their driver's training, I got to tell you, it's a lot. First of all, they don't do it in the school.
Yeah.
They go to the driver's training school outside of the regular high school.
Yeah.
And I swear they don't spend that much time driving. It didn't seem to me because I remember in class. Of course, we went over it and over it and over it, and then we went out in the car with the driving instructor, who was my gym teacher.
Oh yeah, and you had the orange cones, the figure
exactly,
eights, all that
we,
stuff.
We parallel parked for like 3 days straight.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Plus, remember too, we were driving some pretty big boats too. We were trying to parallel park a monster Chrysler Imperial or something like that.
I don't remember what our driver's training car was. Oh, I know what it was. It was a Maverick. It was a Maverick.
Yeah, well, they have like
4-door Maverick.
Yeah, a smaller junky car.
God, what a piece of crap car that was.
Oh yeah.
What was Ford thinking about?
But then once you get behind the wheel of your parents' car, I mean, well, it was either going to be an incredibly fast car that you had no business driving around in with a bunch of dudes in there.
Or a boat. Usually a boat.
Or a big boat. But either way, man.
Well, I remember visiting my dad. My dad lived in Washington, D.C. at the time, and he had a Delta 88.
Yeah.
Speaking of boats, oh my God, was that huge?
Oh, yeah. It's just funny.
Fast.
It's funny when you think how little Because aren't you amazed when you look at 16-year-olds and how young and little they look? But when you're 16, you can't envision that you're ever that kind of small.
No, you think you're your adult height size, pretty much.
Yeah, you don't realize it. And so you always picture these, like that girl that was on last night when they were talking about these new rules for new teen drivers, and they had that blonde-haired girl. I'm like, God, honest to God, I thought she was 12 years old. But you put a kid like that behind the wheel of a big Delta 88, a big Lincoln, a big Chrysler boat. Oh my God!
Yeah, it's
pretty daunting.
That's a
really.
lot. Yeah, it's a lot to commandeer.
Yeah, but hey, we did it, and some people didn't survive it. Though it was always the back of the graduate, always the back of the yearbook that had the two kids that didn't make it through their driving experience, going way too fast, passing on a hill and stuff like that.
We had two, and not only that,
always two. Usually,
the driver, who had dated the girl that I was going out with previously, which was a real heavy deal. Here's this terrible accident, and the girl I'm dating at the time is like literally freaking out, bawling her eyes out because this is her old boyfriend. So it put me in a really awkward situation. Mm-hmm. But anyway, he had been taken to the hospital. His mother worked in the emergency room.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I know.
Ugh.
And it sounds like an urban legend or something because I've heard that story a million times, but it really, really, really happened.
Yeah.
So, what a terrible thing.
Horrible.
But now, by the way, that Delta 88, maybe somebody will help me out on this. I'm dying to know. I think it was a 454 engine in that Buick.
Wouldn't surprise me. It seems like everything was way up there.
Delta 88, that was an Oldsmobile, wasn't it?
The Delta 88?
Delta 88 was an Oldsmobile.
I think it was. Yeah.
And I believe that had a 454.
So.
It was so fast.
It seems like all the engines were like, it seems like the lightest stuff out there was the 350s. It seems like more often than not, it was 440s, 454s, 4-barrel carbs. I mean, we had everything.
Everything was 8 cylinders. 6 cylinders it was not even worth driving a 6-cylinder car to me.
The horsepower being developed by those engines were absolutely phenomenal. And we were behind the wheel of that stuff. And boy,
I was just thinking that, and we were behind the wheel.
Cars hauled ass.
They were so fast.
They were so fast. Oh my God, were they fast?
Back in the day, they were so fast.
God, they really were. God, so everybody loves all those cars. Even today, people collect them and love them. I mean,
I see cars.
It's too bad that everybody couldn't experience what that was like, because that was, boy, that's a bygone era that was really cool.
The cruise. I mean, that's what the cruise is all about. That's the insanity of the cruise. And I got to tell you, every time I see like a Cutlass Supreme, with that whatever that was, a 442 or whatever that thing. They had that huge 442, huge engine on this little 2-door car that my buddy's mother had, and he used to drive the daylights out of that thing. Every time I see one, honest to God, the hair on my neck goes up. It's like, oh my God, a Cutlass 442. Oh wow, would I like to get in that thing and drive?
Yeah, and that's what's funny too, is that cars like that frequently were the car of the little spindly mother.
Well, yeah, there was no car to buy. They couldn't buy it. Nobody cared about gas mileage. Nobody was looking for some 4-cylinder thing that would barely get you somewhere, but it would get great gas mileage. No one cared.
That's what was so funny about that Road Runner that I was racing with that Skylark was that thing with the cotter pins in the hood and that 440 and all that stuff. That car, it was all orange. I mean, was it badass?
Orange Roadrunner.
And that was his mother's car. And his mother was, looked like David Letterman's
his mother had a Roadrunner.
Yes. That was her car.
That's great.
Oh, my God. And she was just a little woman, just a little white hair, and she just real short.
She probably felt very safe in it because it was a big car.
Oh, yeah, probably.
I know, my mom always liked big cars because she felt safer.
And it's so funny because when she would drive it, oh, my God, it was just this big pussy ride, just this incredibly fast car just being driven real slow and cautiously. And
you can
my
hear
buddy
that.
Get that thing and...
Hold on. But you know what? When the little old ladies drove those cars, you could still hear that badass engine.
Oh, God, those motors.
They were nasty sounding, but they'd be driving 30 miles an hour. It's like, oh, come on, lady, blow that thing out a little bit. Jesus, it's dying to fly. It's built to fly.
I know. That's right. Those engines were built to go.